Hello. A bit more of a serious subject today on why quit van life. I guess for many, realization is that it isn't always about traveling and seeing the most amazing places. And there are many beautiful places out there to actually go and see. Mountains, waterfalls, beaches, forests, you name it. So much bushland and places that you can visit, and that's great. That is truly wonderful. But is it the reality of actually living in a van being your home and not just something that you decide to go traveling in? It all takes money and a good vehicle, which I won't say mine isn't, but a good reliable vehicle. But also being a woman on your own, it takes that mental space in your head that if you are traveling on your own, you have to be safe at the same time. Where you stay, where you stop, and what you do. So let's get a little bit more into why people don't always, they put out there that they're living in their van. Well, they are for that couple of years. But what if it's more than a couple of years? There's two different things. Living full-time, making it your home, or making it your home for a couple of years while you travel and see all the sights. Getting real about the situation of van life is, for some, like myself, the van is also my car. So having the availability to be able to turn on that ignition and go places such as shopping, doctors, visiting people, and so on, is not always the reality, as the dogs are running everywhere and likely to. I don't want them knocking over the camera. But in the reality, there are two different scenarios. Living in it, traveling in it. I said, traveling in it, it doesn't necessarily make it your full-time living in a van. It's a temporary. And I don't think that is the reality. Anybody can do anything for that short time. And 2 years you might think, wow, that's a really long time to be living in a van. And it is, and can be challenging. And do you guys have to be so noisy while I'm doing the video? Apologies for the noisy dogs. And I can only lay claim to being living full-time in my van for a year and a half. And the reality of that too was, some of it I looked after, did some home looking after for people while they went away on their holidays. And why not? If I have the opportunity to do that, that is exactly what I I will do for friends. So it did give me an opportunity to get out of the van and actually, live in a house. And I craved, actually, in the end, getting back into my van. And I would do that. I would actually go out, and even though I was house sitting, I would go and sleep in my van some nights, not every night, but I was more comfortable sleeping in the van than I was in the big house. But when you're living in a van, there's that thought process where you have to think it is different than just travelling around and seeing Australia. And kudos to those that, that's a word that I don't use very often, to those that do it and enjoy it and love it, and can say they've had the most amazing time and wonderful time doing their own thing. You have to be financially able to do that. You can free camp, no doubt about it, but in the end, you don't live for free. Let's just say that. And I'm here at my son's house, and that's all well and good. And you would think that, okay, well, that's pretty good, You can live, you can plug in, you can live for nothing. Well, no. I've got to turn the camera a little bit more. I pay my way. I don't expect to be where I'm at, wherever I'm staying, and live for nothing. And I don't think anybody should do that to people, because I don't wish to be a burden on anybody, or think that they think that I'm just getting a free ride. While I'm here, I get the use of a shower, a toilet, and which you need if you happen to have a shower and a toilet in your van, which I would love, and maybe eventually, I'm not too sure. I'll stay in a caravan park and enjoy the ability to plug in and go use the amenities, have a shower. If I'm not in that situation, I'm also happy to fill my sink with hot soapy water and give myself a good bath, but I always need to wash my hair as well. And that is a pain in the butt in the van. But living full-time in the van, it's about making things easier, and as easy as possible for yourself. Because if it's not going to work. And you will be okay with it for a while, but you will never be okay with it long term. You just won't. And you're kidding yourself if you think that you will be. It doesn't work. Oh, bit high. That better? Hope it is. And my dog is going to want to come in and do his thing. And oh my goodness. I have the availability to be inside of my son's home and do a little bit of filming, and it's wonderful to, but not, right? Excuse me. See. So, when you're living in a van or travelling in a van, it's two different things. And I live in my van. And it must be livable and comfortable and a home. And hence why I have a lot of stuff in my van. Lots of bits and pieces everywhere. And things that make my life easier. If you're just you know, living in a van for 2 years is not claiming that it's your home, because it might be your home for a couple of years, but it's definitely not your home. You will have minimal amount of whatever it is that you have in that van. I have my whole life, my whole world, everything that I own is in that van. And why I chose that van. It is a big van, and it's a high van. I don't want to be not able to stand up. I want to be able to stand up and do what I need to do. I don't want to have to sit or be on my knees to do anything, because my body wouldn't be able to do that anyway. So the setup, it was what it was when I bought it. And it was a big thing. You know, it didn't have a shower and no toilet. And they were two things that were important to me. And a very good friend of mine helped me out when it come to shower. And also I bought a portable toilet because it's necessary, especially when you get into my age, and a lot of older ladies will understand. A lot of older ladies will understand that and why it is necessary. To me, a portable toilet, having the space in the van to actually have it, you know, and not just a bucket or whatever. Yes, I've got to buy chemicals and I've got to empty it, but I can there are lots of dump sites that I can use, which there is an app on a phone. But all in all, it was about the comfortability, and could I be comfortable living full time in this van and it being my home at the same time. So I have so much stuff, and other people don't need so much stuff because it's not a permanent, it's not a long-term thought process. So I've shown you pictures, and I'll show you just how messy my van can get at times. But those particular pictures were taken when I was doing some things to the van. The whole cabinetry and so forth, except the above cupboards, were black melamine, and it was dark and dingy, and you wanted in, you sit still. Dark and dingy, so it really needed to be changed. So while I was at my son's and Bairnsdale, I changed the colouring, and it's perfect. The much lighter cupboard, and also the flooring was dark. I put new carpet down. How long that will last, I don't know, but it didn't cost me very much. It's easy to replace, pull out, replace, and so on. So that made a massive difference. So like I said, it's personalising it, and personalising it means having things around you that are you, and the person that you are, and the things that you like. And also keepsakes. You know, I've got a lot of things that I did want to keep. I couldn't keep any furniture and a lot of my kitchen stuff or bedding, and yeah, my big screen TVs, etc. I couldn't keep them. As I said, I kept a sound bar. That's what it's all about when you live in it as your home and not just your touring holiday vehicle for a couple of years even. I don't have the availability of parking it up, pulling the awning out. Well, I will, but and having another vehicle to jump in and just run down to the shops and do. That's why I've got my bike, my electric bike, to be able to do that. But also in saying that, if I take the van, I do have to park, a street or a couple of streets away to find the space to park my van. And I keep saying it's a long van, and I don't know, but if you know what the length of a long wheelbase Mercedes-Benz Sprinter is, then you'll know. I must look it up. Been in it for a year and a half, and I haven't even measured her up, but I just say she's big, she's long. I could talk a little bit about safety, because that is important as a woman on their own in a van. Look, where I go and how I travel is I'm pretty safe. If I was parking up overnight in truck stops, which I can do, I have the ability to jump in the cab, start her up and leave. I don't have to stay anywhere. And why I kept the cab open, I didn't block it off. I wanted that availability as my safety. I can spend time on my own, and I know a lot of people say they can do that, and they can, some more so than others, some for a certain amount of time and others for a longer amount of time. But I am very much somebody that I do keep to myself. Do I like to talk and have a chat with people? Absolutely. But I can do that now. And so can most people via your phone, FaceTiming if you want to see. But then how do you have Wi-Fi? Well, there are places that you can get Wi-Fi free. I do have not a dongle, but a portable Wi-Fi, pocket Wi-Fi. I finally got there. And I pay $62 odd a month to have this, and it's worth it. For me, it's worth it. It can be the outside world coming into my little world or bubble or whatever you want to call it. It's available. I get 400 gig a month, and if you're interested in knowing who it is Tangerine, and I bought my own pocket Wi-Fi thing. And sure, there'll be places where that isn't available, but I always have my 4G on my phone or 5G that I can connect to should I need to. There are dead zones. You're certainly not dead, are you? You're a fuzzy, fidgety ear cobwebs from being under the house. Okay, I'm going to let him out. Maybe he'll be happy to be outside this time. Okay, that was a second for you, but a little bit longer for me. So now I go outside. So moving right along, and I will sit at the bottom of the steps. It's wonderful, and I have met nice people along the way, but is that the most important thing in my life? Well, yes and no. I mean, like I said, it's lovely to meet new people, but do I need that interaction? I don't know whether it's because of all that has happened to me to where I am now. That no, I don't need it. And I really do like my own company, my own space, the quiet, and so forth. But I'm not adverse to having conversations with other people along the way and getting to know them and what they're up to. Absolutely welcome that as well, but I don't need it. So if you think that being in a van is going to be meeting people all the time and having that available to you. It isn't. And I'm okay with that. So I don't get lonely. I truly don't. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. But I can handle it. I can handle the solitude. And that is how it can be when you live full time in a van. It's not always partying, hanging out somewhere. Just isn't. And if you think it is, when your van is your home, and I'm going to reiterate that, when the van is where you live and it's your home, then it's different. It is just different. So you do things, you make it easier for yourself. If that is your plan, is having the van as your home. You make it comfortable, cozy, and you. It reflects you and who you are. Well, that sun's getting rather warm. I don't know if I need my leggings on under my dress today, but one never knows. So, permanent address, got to have one. My permanent address is my parents' home, because I do have things, not a lot comes in the mail anymore. When I'm away, I'm staying at a friend's or one of my kids' homes or whatever, I can address parcels to there. But it does make it a little bit more difficult, so you must remember that. Going to a doctor, if you get sick, these are all things that I need to think about. So, being my home, I can do, phone consults. But there are times when, my doctor, quack. Oh, that all rolled together, didn't it? My doctor wishes for me to be seen by a physician. So I have to make an appointment wherever I'm at and actually go see a doctor I've never seen before. And I hate explaining this, that and the other, but I have to do it. But I can do oh my goodness. I can do phone consults months, but then I do need to go and see a doctor. So, yeah, there are things that it might be your home, but you don't exactly live the same way as if you would if you were in a home on a plot that was yours and you weren't ever going anywhere. I have to consider breaking down and what to do and what not to do and so on and so on. So, that might be a whole other video on the pros and cons of and needs being met, your needs being met, and not living, as people might see it, in this world of, the places you'll see and the place you'll go. Yes, it can be a part of it. But when you vanish your home and it's full time, it's not that other. It just isn't. The other isn't total reality. It's a part of your reality living in a van. I can come and go as I wish. I can go wherever I want to go. And fantastic. I have the freedom to do that, and I love that about having the van. But is it the reality of it when it is your home? Absolutely not. So making it comfortable, making it your own, having the things around you that you will need to be comfortable, that's a whole other video. But for this one, I will say, take care of yourself and those around you. Toodaloo.